Now, a continuation with the cold weather winter theme for equipment and field gear recommendations. What you're looking at is what's called a plumber's candle. You can get these in pretty much any hardware store. Usually they'll have a box or two of these on the shelf. These candles are a different mixture than your standard candle typically. There's supposed to be more of a higher acid content inside the wax, which allows them to burn hotter and longer, is what little I've been able to find out. Now these are approximately 4 to 5 inches in length usually. The burn time on these, depending on the length, is anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. The heat put out is estimated at about 75 to 85 BTUs. Now, why they call these plumber's candles, from what little I've been able to find out, because when you actually try looking up actual facts on these things, it's kind of, there's not much out there, which is surprising. But plumbers years ago, when it used to be cast lead pipes were used for water, especially for drainage pipes, plumbers would use these candles. They would melt them, drip the wax on a cloth, and then they would pour hot molten lead on the cloth on the wax part, and then wipe that over the seams of the lead pipes to join them together. It would give enough protection that the plumber would not burn their hands. And these became known as plumber's candles. They were the ones that were using this type. Now, consideration, this is your typical taper type candle that you'll find in any store across the country and potentially around the world. These things, which are cheaper than the plumber's candles, the burn rates on these are typically less than an hour per inch. A lot of websites won't even give you even an estimate as to how long these will last. All they'll say is it depends on the length. Now with the plumber's candles, from what it looks like when I did the numbers, these things burn at a rate of about an hour and a half to 2 hours per inch. So a 4-inch candle, 4 to 4.5 inch candle will burn between 6 to 8 hours, and a 5-inch will burn closer to that 8 to 10 hours. Now if you're inside a snow cave or some type of shelter in the winter, you're trying to bring up the heat, you're stuck in your car out in a blizzard, you want to have some type of heat source. These will not, keep you toasty warm, but it will bring up the temp inside your shelter a few degrees, not a lot. Some people say that they think a single candle raises the temperature only 1 degree inside a room. Well, how big is that room? If you're inside a smaller space, like inside a snow cave, inside a snow shelter, or inside potentially the pine tree survival shelter, you're heating up a smaller space, so maybe this will help with bringing that up just a few degrees, enough to keep you from freezing. Now, if you do go this route, having some of these with your emergency supplies in winter, I would have a small can to set this inside when you're burning it, so that any hot wax that for some reason does not get sucked into the wick and burn, it drips down the side. Have a small can like your sea ration size can, your bunt cans. Set this down inside that and then light the candle. That should help protect it and that stuff as the wax drips down. I do recommend having some of these. Maybe put a couple of them inside your rucksack or something, especially during cold weather. Have some inside your caches for use during during winter for trying to heat your shelters, especially if you're doing a snow shelter. I did want to do a snow cave snow shelter this coming weekend and use one of these to help heat it, but the particular snowbank that I was going to use got destroyed today because apparently some kids found it and decided it'd make a great place to build a snow fort, and it completely tore it apart, completely hollowed it out. So that experiment is probably not going to happen this year, hopefully next year. So hopefully I'll be able to give you some info as to how well this worked in that situation. Now, should you bring some of these for winter? Maybe, but just be advised that these are going to burn a lot faster than probably this will. I have not done an experiment to see how long these last, what the burn rate is, all that for myself. Maybe that's something I'm going to experiment with sometime here, especially if I do the snow shelter. So how much these cost a piece is really going to depend on where you get them. If you're getting them from your big box store, hardware store, lumber yard, they're going to be cheaper than if you get them at your mom and pop store. So but it's one more thing to add to your survival supplies for winter. Always have, especially inside your vehicle kits. If you're watching this for an idea for items for your vehicle survival kits for winter, you live in the Great White North, I would say pack at least a half dozen of these in there. I understand there's survival candles and stuff which are supposed to supply more heat, and that type of stuff lasts longer. It's possible. These are going to be more economical than those. So one more option. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and Militia movements, always remember, essay ons.